to document my financial journey. So we talk a lot about budgets, and I'm hoping to start to get into some investment conversations. I am learning tons, but I do currently invest. I have some debt payoff videos. I am now consumer debt free. So it's been quite a journey, and I'm happy to document it here on YouTube. I am a single woman. I'm in my 40s. I live in Pennsylvania. So if that sounds like you, and you're interested in kind of seeing more and seeing what I do, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in future videos. Today's video is one of the videos I do every month. And that is, I do my budget. So I show you, exactly what my income is expected to be and my plan for the money. And then usually at the end of the month, I will close out my budget so you can see actually how I did. And I use, like I said, my actual income, and my actual expenditures. So without further ado, we'll get into the budget. All right, my plan for October is a little interesting. So we'll get into it because if you've been watching videos, you know exactly why. But first of all, what I do in when I create my budget, I use a zero-based budget, which means that before I get paid, before the month even starts, every dollar that I expect to earn has a job to do. It has an assignment, whether that is going towards expenses, whether that is going towards savings, investments, things like that. Doesn't matter. There's a plan in place. And I find that this is the easiest way for me to do it. I know some people who do kind of budget by paycheck, or they budget by like week. I feel like that can be very successful and very useful. And probably if if you had kids or you have a partner in your household, maybe it gets a little bit easier. But like for me, a month at a time works for me just fine. So income, I'm expecting $3,781.50 from my day job, and $105 from my mom. My mom pays, we have some things that like we're kind of on together. Like she's on my cell phone plan. We have some subscription services that we share, things like that. And so she basically gives me money towards that since those things are in my name. Total income then is $3,886.50. Now, budgeted mortgage payment $648.67. Now that is for my principal, my interest, taxes, and insurance, all that kind of stuff. So 3.5% interest rate. So that's nice. Kind of stuck in the house now, whether I want to be or not, because interest rates, while the feds did cut the funds rate, but it's not going to drop interest rates too terribly much, which is not necessarily a terrible thing. Or mortgage rates, I should say, not just interest rates. Not necessarily a terrible thing, truthfully, in the grand scheme of things. Like, yeah, it sucks if you have a 3.5% or 2.5% mortgage and you want to move or you need to move, and then you're like, it's hard to swallow the next that jump in rate. But overall, it's not a terrible thing. It'll, I think, keep some of the houses from being obnoxiously expensive. So anyway, gas 25.49. I don't really use my stove all that often in the summertime, and this is kind of like, most of September, which has been kind of a pretty warm September, and like the very end of August. So for the most part, like I've just kind of reheated something. So I'm sure there's like a minimum usage on there, and I've gone like a little bit over the minimum usage, but that actually will start ticking up now that it's soup season, and I'll be cooking soup, lots and lots of soups and braises and making breads, and my stove is a gas stove. So there's that. Plus, heat because it gets cold. Sewer $63. That's a flat rate. I do not have a water bill this month, nor do I have, and I don't have a garbage bill. That's every quarter, and I'm not paying that one yet. I think that might be next month. And I don't have an internet bill this month. And why, you ask? Don't I have those bills? If you've seen it's probably my week one expense video from September. I paid those. I made an extra mortgage payment, I made an extra water payment, and I made an extra internet payment because they were on a sort of set it and forget it. And I was in the process of switching banks over. And in my head, I had time to cancel the payment because I wasn't actually able to pay it out on the first because the first was part of a holiday weekend, it was part of Labor Day. So I was like, okay, I think my bank said it wasn't going out till like the second or the third. So I was like, all right, no big deal. Like on Saturday, I will go in, I'll delete the, or Friday even, I think I'll go in, I'll delete the payment, not a problem. Yeah, turns out they already sent it out by that point. So I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like this thing isn't you. I said to pay it out on this day and you're taking it like 5 days early. So it was too late to stop it at that point, and I've ended up double paying. Now, does it matter for my mortgage? Sure doesn't, unfortunately. So I still have to pay that one. However, I am now paid up on my water bill. So I will make a payment on that if I am somehow, if I've, gone over the usage there. So we'll see when I get a bill. I'm going to get a bill that's probably just says I owe nothing, but it might say like I owe $1 or something because I used more than I should have, or more than my minimum allowance is. I rarely ever go over that though. So it's kind of hard for me to tell. Internet, yeah, is a flat rate. So they're going to send me a bill saying that like I have it like a negative balance, I'm sure, until next month. So at least that's some money back in my pocket temporarily. I'm really mad about the mortgage payment. Like I super wish that that could have counted either as the total principal payment, which would not have been the end of the world. Not really what I wanted to do with that money, but oh well. But if it could have then been like, oh, well, we'll just count this towards November, then like everything is the same and everything is equal, but no, not the case. Amazingly irritating. So anyway, cell phone, $75. I've just kind of kept that high because my mom and I had been doing a lot of traveling and going a lot of different places, and we've been going over our limit. So it normally is around like $30, $35. I'm gonna have to pause this a second because I don't want to say that and set anybody else's off that has them. Sorry. I had to tell my Alexa to stop her timer, and I didn't want to just shout it in case somebody did because I've done that before. I kind of jokingly said it to someone, and I was on speakerphone with them, and it tripped theirs over the phone. So anyway, groceries, $300. Life insurance, $7.50. I pay that out quarterly. That's really not exactly a life insurance. Like it is, but it's more like accidental death. So I'm gonna cancel that. I need to cancel it. It's $7.50 every quarter, so I kind of feel like, it's not really much. But I also feel like I'm just tempting fate, which I know is irrational, but yeah, I'll get over it. Gas, $200. House garden, $25. That's just kind of for stuff around the house. I oftentimes don't even spend anything on that, to be honest. Restaurant, $75. Fitness, $41.85. That's just the cost for me to go to the Y where I go to swim. That's mostly what I do for fitness. Personal, $50. Miscellaneous, $50. I feel like you always need a miscellaneous category because things always come up that you're just like, oh yeah, right. Should have planned for that one. I put $100 into a brokerage account for my niece. $50 of that comes from my mother. So of the 105 she gives me, 50 is for that. 50 comes from me. So I'm the one who puts it in. So I just, put the 100 in. $70.83 to my personal brokerage account. I realized that with the change in the HSA and the Roth IRA contribution limits that I was really, really close to $1,000 a month. And so I decided, you know what, then like, it wasn't really a goal of mine to get that brokerage account. Like, I mean, I opened it and I thought like, okay, it's there. Once I meet my other financial goals, then the next goal will be to like take whatever money I have at the end of the month and toss it in there. And I was just like, but understanding that like it was going to be a while. And then I realized like $70.83. Well, you know what? Like I'll cut my restaurant down. I'll go out to eat fewer times. I will, tighten up my grocery budget a little bit, or I will tighten this up a little bit so that I almost like I can come up with $70.83. I can find that somewhere in my budget for sure. So that now I can do like an even 1,000 every month, which is great. Now, I guess not every month because I still only do $500 a month for my Roth IRA. And then what I do, I think this year I did my tax return, but there's 2 months. I get paid every 2 weeks. So there's 2 months where there's a 3 pay month. So my plan is always to take like $500 out of the extra pay, or take the 500 out of my tax return to like make up for that, rather than having to like actually change the amount to like 583.33 or whatever it comes to. So that's just kind of how I do it. I figure it's easy enough to do it that way. And then who knows, I'll maybe make a change as they, increase the limits, but this is where we're at right now. So $500 goes into the Roth IRA. Total expense is $2,284.80. And even though these really are three kind of savings items, the money like goes out of my regular operating expenses and I don't touch it. So I include it as an expense. Now, my emergency fund. So I talked about different financial goals. My original goal at the beginning of the year was, or I shouldn't say my first goal at the beginning of the year was to top off all of my sinking funds that are in, in all of these savings amounts. By the way, this is not, don't pay attention to the beginning and ending balances here. They're not updated quite yet for the month of September. So that's going to be different. But anyway, I knew that what I wanted to do was get all of my sinking funds to a certain level first. And then as I bought something or used some of that money, I then would then replace that. So once I got to that point, which for me was about May-ish, then I started throwing any leftover money at my emergency fund with the intention of trying to get it to $20,000 by the end of the year. I'm pretty close. I think it's very possible I'll get there. So we'll see. So anyway, emergency fund, $1,190.70 should be going to that. Subscriptions, $155. Again, that's a combination of like money from me, money from my mother. So that's not all me. And I should say, I do want to add, I say this every time. It is not necessarily like, these aren't like streaming services. Some are, yes, but it's stuff like my password generator protector thing, my I have cameras with a cloud subscription to save the videos because we've had like break-ins and stuff around like that. So it's not all, they are all the subscription services, but it's not like streaming stuff. I need to pause. All right, I am not entirely sure where I left off. I think probably right about here. My friend came over, so we're doing this we participate in this wellness program. We can earn money at work. And in order to get like to the top tier, one of the requirements is that you attend a class, and they have different classes. Like you could go to a yoga class or something that they all do together. And one of the other ones that like you get to do from home is a cooking class, and they have a professional chef come in and she makes something really healthy. Tonight it was a Chipotle chicken salad, which was delicious. Um, Absolutely delicious. And anyway, my friend was coming over because we're both singles. We live alone. And so we were like, I mean, making a lot, and it didn't make sense for us to both make a lot of something and I can, but I don't want to eat leftovers like 6 days in a row because I've made so anyway, we've done this now for like 3 or 4 years, however long we've been going for the top tier. We do that, and so she comes to my house usually. I mean, we could do it from her house, but I don't know, I think we've just always done it from mine. But anyway, she comes to my house and we cook together, we eat together, we just both like pop on the Zoom and say like, "Hey, we're here." And it's great. And anyway, I was trying to get it done before she got here, and she was a couple minutes early. And I heard her punching her code. She has her own code for my house, and so she's punching her code in. I was like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna stop now." But anyway, I closed my computer, opened it back up, and then it didn't want to like keep recording. I had to kind of finish and start over. So yeah, so much for that. So I do want to say, like, I initially topped a lot of these out. Like my medical fund was 2,000. Now my medical fund, my insurance year goes from July 1 to June 30th. So realistically, I don't need to do anything with that fund right now. As long as I have 2,000 when it starts in July, then I can do that. So I might like maybe at the end of the year, like I'll, if I've got leftover monies here or there, I'll top it off. Like we'll see. I don't need to right now. I don't usually go to the doctor for much of anything. Of course, now that I've said that, I'm going to go like break my leg or something. 733.33 for subscriptions. I'm probably at the point where I don't need to contribute to that anymore. I just kept my contribution rate up the same, even though like we have been canceling a lot of different services. Like we canceled Hulu, we canceled Netflix, we canceled Paramount Plus. We're probably going to cancel Disney, and we're probably going to cancel HBO Max. And pretty much just like while one is on, like while there's something that we want to be able to watch, we'll like get it for like a month or two, binge what we want to see, and then cancel it again. I might keep one of them. I might keep Disney. I'm really kind of having it on between Disney and HBO. I sort of feel like if I don't have it and can't watch it, then I just won't watch it and I'll move on with life. And I was trying to explain that to my mom, and I was like, "Mom, like we don't have net. Like if we had Netflix, like fine, I'd watch it on occasion, but I don't miss it because we don't have it." And she was just like, "Well, we can get it if you want." And I was like, "That's not what I was saying. What I'm saying is like if it's there, I'm like, cool, I'll watch it, and if it's not, I don't even miss not being able to watch it. It's fine." So I have a sneaking suspicion that it would be the same with the others. Now, I do have a Crunchyroll subscription. I normally pay them a year out. So like having a lot of money in that subscription fund, there are times when I have like next to nothing or it's negative. Um because I've like paid a bunch of stuff out for the year, and I will come December calculate out for 2025 like how much I think it's going to be based on that, or based on like what my new plan is moving forward. I mean, and I will say, when I say like they're not all streaming services, one of them is like I do Apple Fitness, and I also have a subscription to, well, I was doing my Fitness Pal, but now I've switched over to, I'm trying out Lose It to see if I like that better. It's a lot cheaper actually. But I also do like a swimming plan and stuff like that. So it's not like I'm like watching TV or streaming music with them. So but it's a, a number of different things like that. I think I said this earlier too, a cloud service for my cameras, because we've had a lot of like break-ins. In fact, somebody about 2 blocks away got their car stolen. So two cars got stolen. I'm not really sure what was happening there, but on the same street. Don't know what the deal is with that. However, so I keep the cloud subscription just in case, for the cameras at this point, and we'll go from there. I will readjust based on canceling some of the subscriptions. So I would imagine that's probably going to be closer to maybe 100, maybe even like $75 a month. Not really sure. House repair, that the 1,000 is where I top that off. I don't top off the Knitting the Lion Club. That's just, it gets to 200. I pay it in January. Giving fund, I usually do about 1,000, so I'm kind of starting to put some money back into there. Same thing with car insurance. That just gets paid out, and so I'm not really worried about a limit that would just sit there for a while. Car repair is 1,000 now. This month, I had to replace my windshield. I got my oil changed, and I had to get new inspection stickers because, well, they stay with the windshield. So when I get a new windshield, I don't have inspection stickers anymore. So I had to go get new ones made. And I typically go to Jiffy Lube to get my oil changed, and they can do inspections. And so they have inspection stickers, they can replace them. And so I was like, well, while I'm here getting that done, I might as well get my oil change done. I'm not past my mileage for oil change, but I'm definitely like well past the date. So I'm like, whatever, I'll just get it done. So I do have to renew my tags and or my registration for my car in December, and get my car inspected in December. But at this point, like that's the only other expense that I'm looking at. So I'll, start putting some money back in. In fact, I think I'm going to switch gears here. I think I'm going to do that right now. I think I'm just going to start putting money back in all these things. Let's just do it this way and be done with it. I'm not really sure why I was thinking I wasn't. Now, since I do a zero-based budget, I want to make sure that everything has a place to go. And this with the parentheses down, I'm pointing at it like you can see it. With parentheses means it's negative. So then what I typically do is I'll go in here and then it will total it for me. So that's 1,040.70. No, 4070. All right. So I've changed gears. I thought about it and I was like, yeah, I think I want to start putting this stuff in because it is October, November, and December. So we'll see. I think part of me was like hyper focused on trying to get my emergency fund to 20 grand. So I was like, no, putting it all in the emergency fund. But the more I think about it, like I'm still going to also have to put this money in here. So like I could move all that money to an emergency fund and be like, yay, I have an emergency fund of $20,000, but also I have nothing in my car fund now. So that just seems silly. So anyway, $50 back to the giving fund, $59 to my car insurance fund, my car repair fund, I'll put $50 back in there, my gift fund, $50, my garden fund, $50, travel fund, $80. Oh dear. My battery's getting low. So it's a good time to wrap up, huh? Clothing fund, $50. We'll just start putting those back in, making sure those are topped off. It would be nice if I was able to start the year having topped off all of those funds. I do have a 3-pay month coming in November. So I will have a little bit more that I can work with as far as that goes. And then put $1,000 into listen, October, November, December. If I can do $1,000 in each of those months, I will hit 20,000. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Um, got that third pay. It's gonna be like close to 2 grand in that pay because they don't take all the stuff out of it. So we'll see. Well, they take taxes and whatnot, but they don't take like contributions to anything. And so we'll see if we can hit the 20,000. I knew it was a stretch goal for me anyway. I think what will definitely help is I'll probably get about $150 yet more of interest because it's all sitting in a high yield savings account. So like that might actually be what gets me over the line, which would be nice. So, if not, like I said, I knew it was a stretch goal in the first place. And the cool thing about when you set goals, especially if you set yourself a little bit of a stretch goal, like even if you don't make it, like, okay, if I don't make it and I'm short because I have $19,920, like, okay, cool. I mean, I'm $80 short and that sucks that I didn't get my goal. But if I didn't try to make that goal in the first place, I wouldn't even be close. I wouldn't have the 19,000 and change. So I can live with it. But it would be nice to actually to get there and kind of top the rest of those off. I don't know if mathematically I can do it. Haven't really thought about that. But because even like the 2,000, I'd have to put almost 100 here, be like a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there. Like might have to do like 1,000 here and 1,000 there, like maybe to get them all topped off. But I guess we will see. And my gift fund will be decimated because it's Christmas. So whatever. Anyway, if you are still with me at the point where I'm rambling because it's late, I need to go to bed. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I will see you guys next time. Bye.